What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Wait, where we talk about podcast episode 59. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and today I am joined by nobody solo. Hashtag by yourself. What's up? All right. Running solo in this episode. That's a-okay. We're gonna use this podcast to kind of use it's the end of the year. It's the last podcast of 2019, so I'm gonna use it kind of as a review, set some new goals. And I want to talk about the last decade in gaming, some top fives per year. But I'm already getting ahead of myself in discussing topics. Remember, guys, you can watch this podcast live or on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every first and third Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can join in the chat, join on the conversation. We'd love to have you and have that conversation keep going. If you can't catch it live, it's always put over on youtube.com and SoundCloud the following week, where it's broken up topic by topic, but also put as one big video or MP3 for your amusement. If you ever have a topic for us, you can always throw it down in the comment section down below as well. We'll try our best to get to that in future episodes. And last but not least, this podcast is brought to you guys by the merch store. You can get all of your swag over there: t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. So, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are enjoying your end of the year, getting ready for the holidays, or maybe you just celebrated and hopefully you had a good time. But I hope you guys had a good one. So as I mentioned, flying solo this time, with it being the last podcast of the year, I kind of wanted to use my first topic, at least, to discuss my goals for 2020. Personal goals, stream goals, content goals, whatever you want to call them. We're just going to kind of put them out there. I wanted to share them with you. Maybe it will kind of keep me accountable for these. Exactly, be goals as well. Accountable for the goals. That way I can kind of look back at this and be like, what were my goals? Ooh, we hit it. Ooh, we didn't hit it, or what the progress is there. We talked about it on a former podcast. I don't know. I think it might have been Kevin. Maybe it was Billy. I don't know. You guys can look that up. But we did talk about New Year's resolutions. And what they meant to us and goals per se. I don't know if it's technically New Year's resolutions because it is that time of the year, but I don't know if I want to label that specifically. But just my brain has been going about certain things I want to get better at, certain things I want to change, certain things I just want to improve overall. So I've already started working on some of them, some I have not, and it's still just that thought of, hey, I want to do this. It's just a matter of how to get there. Just kind of like I said, I wanted to share them with you guys. Once again, put it out there, have some accountability, I guess, instead of just having it be a thought in my head, and that's all it is. There's simple ones, very, very simple ones. Honestly, selfishly, I'd like to lose a little weight. I put on a little bit. I've been going back to Taekwondo, and that's certainly helped. I definitely have lost the weight already with that, and I feel much better. But as you guys know, I left that, wasn't doing it for a while, and was just kind of mulling around. But being back in that exercise routine is definitely helping. I think the big thing that I need to focus on now that goes hand in hand with the exercise is diet, and I'll admit I am terrible at it. I need to figure out what I need to do better with that, because I know, not saying go on a diet, but just change things, Every diet doesn't work. There's no one diet that works for everybody. Cut out certain things or limit certain things. That's definitely good, but it's just a matter of finding what works for me, what doesn't. So, selfishly, that's a goal I'd like to do. I was getting close to 2 before exercising, 200. Not digging that. So I was 150 for the longest time, 150, 155. I don't know if I want to get back down to there, but I think at least closer to that number. If I feel better overall about myself, I think that's more important than a specific number. That's just something that I want to work on for myself. So, like I said, I think it's mainly the diet portion that I need to work on. In class, I'm feeling better doing the exercises than I did when I just started back in. There's definitely areas I could still improve in there, but I feel like I have more control there, doing those things. Like, I can challenge myself to do that, and the diet is something that I haven't really worked on, so it's this bigger obstacle in front of myself, if that makes sense, that I need to tackle. So that would be one goal. Pretty much, a general goal that you hear all the time with New Year's things, so it's not that significant or that special, or unique rather. But yeah, I'll put it out there. Want that to change a little bit. Next thing I want to improve is I want to focus on my sleep a little bit better. Not necessarily how I sleep, but my consistency. So, for those of you guys who don't know, I am night owl mode. I go to work around 4. Well, I leave earlier that, but when I start at 4, do that, help with classes. Usually get home around 9ish. I'll chill, eat dinner, do the stream, and then after that, I'm usually up. I'm either working on something, watching something, playing something. I'm up till 4 or 5. Fine with that. No problem with that. The consistency thing is I always set my alarm for like 9:30, maybe 10. Some days I get up. Some days I do not. I think that's a big struggle for me. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm in bed. It's too cozy, too comfortable. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to stay where I'm at. Now, that is also very easy when you don't have a day job. That is definitely going to change. So I think with that change, that will definitely help that. But 4 to 5 hours of sleep, I think I'm good with that. I was on that pattern for quite a bit of time, and I felt pretty good with that. So, fun fact, 4 hours of sleep is not enough. That might be part of it. I don't think so, because there was a run, lady, that I was going 4 to 5, and no problem. I would go work during the day, I would teach classes, I would stream, and I'd still do a little bit of extra work. And no, I wasn't staying up till 4 or 5 then, but at least it was still limited sleep. So no, because it's not, whenever I do wake up, because I do always wake up with the alarm, it's just a matter of like me physically getting up. I get up, not smack it, but I hit the alarm, and then I just go right back to bed, and I'm like, I'm good. If I get up and I leave the room, go right to the shower, I'm good. I'm golden. It's just I have a very bad habit of, after hitting the alarm, whether it's resetting it to a different time or just turning it off, of not leaving the room. That's the thing that I need to be better at and make a habit of, is if I get up, I need to walk out. Don't stay in that room. If I stay in that room, then I'm done. Even if I'm just laying there, like, I'm on my phone checking stuff, blah, blah, blah. Eventually, I'm going to pass out. So I just need to make a better habit of getting up and leaving the room physically, and then I can go from there. Yeah, and with that, I don't know, being more consistent with that, I feel like if I don't have the things during the day, then obviously I can use that time to work on something, whether it is something that's just fun, like playing a game, or whether it's a project like working something like editing or going out and doing whatever it might be. I just have that time, because there's always times I'm like, I don't have enough time for this, blah, blah, blah. When do I schedule this thing? That's the perfect time. I know it's a saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sure. Is that the most healthy? No, every once in a while, get a little bit more sleep. That's fine. But at least right now, at this point in my life, 4 and 5 hours is fine. I can do with that. I can deal with it. I can live with it. So there's that. And then those are the more like real life ones, I guess. Going over to content creation and streaming. My goals for 2020, man, we've hit 1,000 followers, which is great. That has been a goal for quite a long time, stream-wise. It's the same as it always is. It's just breaking down that barrier and finding that point, that launch point where we can hopefully take this off. And no, I'm not saying partnership and stuff like that. Obviously, that's like long-term goals. But I think it's just a matter of finding where I fit in the niche or however you're going to say it. Finding that and expanding from there. Like if I had... Right now we have a very consistent group of people, and I'm very happy and blessed to have those people watching stream, and I feel like these past couple months have been very good for that and very positive, both while doing the stream and then afterwards how I feel about it. Hashtag blessed, yes. And I think that's good. I feel if we just keep that energy but also add some people in there. Hey Charlie, hey Jeff, speaking of some people I'm very fortunate to have. I think if we just take that small group that we do have, like Charlie, like Jeff, like Lady, like Will, like Pi, and we just kind of extend it like one bump out, and maybe we get 10, maybe we get 15, maybe we get 20 people in this little group. Like, that's improvement, and it's just enough improvement. I think we could do that. Now, it's a matter of how do I do that? And that kind of leads to another one of my goals for content is there's two things. One, I need to be better at promoting myself, and that's going to be a goal of mine this year. Obviously, social media is a very powerful tool, and that's something I've been talking about for a while that I need to be better at, but I need to post more. Not necessarily about content specifically, because there's people I follow who only post like, here's this video, here's when I go live, da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's all that. And that's great and it's good, but like after a point, you just keep scrolling. You're like, oh, okay, well, there's that things. Hashtags certainly can help reach more people. So it's just like I need to be more active. I think that's my big thing. Twitter I rarely use. I use every week to put their schedule up there because some people requested it. And other than that, I mean, I reply here and there to people. I think I need to do more of that. Get in the conversation with people, even if it's just general conversations, not be insincere. Hey, I'm interested in this thing. I want to talk to you. Boom. Put this out there kind of thing. And just through that that's not even a word. Even them just seeing my name recurring, they can be like, oh yeah, hey, what's Bret doing? What's he up to? Oh, cool. He's streaming this time. I can go check that out or whatever. And then, yeah, with the hashtags, like you guys are saying, Instagram's a whole nother thing. Now, that's another challenge for me because I just can't think of what I want to take pictures of. But Instagram's a big one that I need to improve on. And I think I talked about it. Maybe I just talked about it off camera. But Snowbike Mike, he's a big one who used to do Instagram a lot. And that was somebody who was like, shit, I need to do what he's doing. He would always do his Instagram stories. And he was just pretty consistent with that. And I mean, for those of you guys who do know Snowbike Mike, he's fucking charismatic as all hell. So, like, you could put up anything up there and it'd be good. But I think just being more active in that facet of things would help, whether it's the hashtags or just, you know, it's more content. It's more that poke to other people like, hey, I'm around. I do things. So there's that. Take pictures of things you do Taekwondo punch. See, that, I would love to do that. But I need somebody to take the pictures of the videos. Like, I can't video myself really well doing those. Could I get a tripod and do that? Sure. Does it look a little silly? Yes. And that's another thing I need to get over. It's just my self-confidence of like, who gives a shit? I'm recording this. I'm doing this for myself. It doesn't really matter. I'm hitting this target, doing this thing, whatever. Because, yeah, that's not something everybody does. And I think in the communities that I'm in, like, that makes me stand out, like, as an individual. Because nobody else that I know really does that. Like, there are people in the Kind of Funny community that obviously do martial arts, but I can't think of any, like, standout people. Like, oh, this is the person who does martial arts. Like, when I went to the studio and I talked about it on their podcast, like, I had a lot of people like reaching out to me like, oh, I do Taekwondo, I know exactly what you're going through, blah blah blah. Like, I need that thing that pushes me over the edge. Obviously I don't have the charisma that Snowbike Mike does. I don't have the likability that Echo Clo does. I don't have the just raw talent that so many Kind of Funny best friends do. OK Beast guys, Trevor Starkey, and the nerdy site that just started. Like, there's so many people that I can't, or at least right now, am not even close to their level. I need to find that thing that can do that for me. And it doesn't have to be just Kind of Funny's group. No, it could be anywhere, you know? So, it's that. Stop telling me what you don't have and tell me what you do have. See, that's what I'm saying. I need to do that. That's my wall right now. Here's the wall. Here's me. Now I gotta go through the wall. And you guys know me very well. People in chat. That's something I struggle with, and I'm gonna do better. That's my goal. I want to do better at that. That's a big one. So yeah, just promoting my stuff more. Facebook is another one. I've never wanted to be in anybody's face that I know personally and be like, hey, check out my shit. Check out my shit. I do stuff. I need to get over myself with that. So this podcast is another one that I need to promote. I love doing these podcasts. Why? Because I get to talk to people that maybe I just didn't. Like Kind of Funny best friends, having them on. Having people on, having stupid conversations. Whatever it is. This has been a big challenge for me because I'm not the most social, but I feel like it's a great thing because it helped me out a lot. And I want to keep doing that. So this podcast I should promote more. Yeah, it's a project for fun, but why the fuck not, you know? If nobody's listening to it, it's only really doing anything for me. So why not promote that? Why not put out, hey, I do this video right here. Like, Extra Life is the only thing I really promote. And boy, howdy doody, do I love promoting Extra Life. Just because it's a fun fucking time. Obviously, we're helping kids out. We're doing stupid challenges. But man, whenever it rolls around, I love promoting that. I love making the hype video for that. I love making the vlogs afterwards. Yes, I know I haven't put out 2019s yet. Don't get on my back. I'll do it tomorrow or eventually. I don't know. But I love doing that. And I just need to remind myself, do that more. People want to see what I'm doing. You know, they want to be supportive. They can't be supportive if I don't put myself out there. No one's going to sell me but me. So, that's what I need to do. So that's one content goal that I'd like to do. That's a big one. Is I need to promote myself. Hype your stuff. Exactly. So, that's a big one for me that I'd like to accomplish. And I'm not, not saying we're going to blow up this year. No, because if I start thinking about that, just like any goal, you start thinking too big, you're just going to crush yourself. So I just want to be better at it and improve it. Follow-up content goal that I've already started working on. For those of you guys who watch, whether it's the podcast, whether it's the live stream, there's a whole ordeal. Setup, microphones, lighting, overlays, graphics, etc. I want to challenge myself and improve my production value of my stream and of my content. Lighting is a big one I need to work on. This light works fine, but if you're watching the video, obviously you can see that my edges are fuzzy for green screen. Something I need to work on. Camera's fine. Transitions, I've started slowly putting those into the stream, and I'm really happy with how those look. Slideshows, I've started putting those in. I'm really glad how those look. I'm starting to work on more of a higher production value that I've seen like companies kind of be like, hey, pay us and you can get this customizable thingy that animates and does this little flip-a-do and promotes your social media or does this thing. And that's all great. That's all fine and dandy. But guess who doesn't have money to pay for that? Me. So why not use the programs that I have? Photoshop, After Effects, Audacity, whatever the fuck I can get my hands on or have my hands on already. Use that and do stuff with it. Jeff, your transition's already made. I got to readjust it with your thingy, but don't pay me for that. You Keep doing what you do, and that makes me happy. Honestly, Jeff is the man. Jeff has the fucking drive that I want. So, no, you keep doing you. I appreciate it, but no, you keep doing you. I want to support you through what I can do. I want some of it. Anyways, so what I've been doing, and I've started working on it, like I said, is I'm starting to work on new ways to produce. So if you watch stream, I have a hold screen on the beginning. There's no music. It's just the picture of me, stream starting soon, little slideshow of what stuff I like. 2020, starting the 4th. Is that the day I come back? Yeah, the 4th. That's different. That's new. The Wait What podcast. That is going to have its own setup, its own hold screen, new overlays. I'm going to have new intermission screens. I'm going to have new end screens. There's not going to be too much changed with the actual stream itself, but doing that. So I'm taking the things I've kind of challenged myself with from Extra Life setups, taking that and then establishing it on the main streams. Instead of thinking it as just one file, I'm changing it and thinking of it more like Photoshop, where it's just pieces of paper layered on top. So through that, like I said, I've already started working on it. Most of the hold screen is done. And guys, I'm really excited for you guys to see it. I've made some animations for social media, for other things I want to promote. And I'm just like, they're simple. It's simple stuff when you go, like, just, look at it. But it makes me feel like I'm doing something right. So keeping that production value up, whether it's just what you guys see, that's a goal for me. So 2020, we're going to have some new setups starting in January. So that's another big goal for me. So yeah, I mean, I think those are the main ones. Those big 4, like I talked about. Some personal goals, some content goals. Is it all just going to happen overnight? No, for sure. I'm definitely going to struggle in certain areas and flop over things. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of put it out there to you guys and for myself. Put it out there instead of just having it in my brain bumping around. If I say it, it makes it more real and it makes me more accountable. So yeah, those are the things I want to do. Personal goals, content goals. What I want to prove this year. If it doesn't all happen this year, that's fine. As long as I have that goal and I have that path, hopefully I can keep chasing after it. There's other personal goals, like Lady said, #B goals that I have as well. We're already kind of working on it. And I'm very happy with that. It's just a matter of getting the ball rolling, taking those steps to get there. So if I think about the other goals like that, I think then we'll be in a good spot, and we'll just work towards that. Whew. So yeah, topic 1, goals. All right, so flying solo. So I asked for viewer topics, didn't really get any, but that's okay. So I decided to steal a topic from Pi. So Pi popped into stream earlier in the week, and he was talking about ranking his top 1 or his top game for the year. Oh, thank you, B. You do best. Plugging his top game for each of the years from 2010 to 2019. And I was like, that's really cool. That's a really fun idea. I'm going to change that up, though, because I don't feel like I can pick just one game per year. So what I did is I went through Wikipedia and I picked 5 games from 2010 each year up to 2019 that meant a lot to me. Now, these are not, this was the best game of this year, Game of the Year award, whatever. It's not that. These are games that just meant a lot to me that year, whether they were a lot of fun, whether they just hit me in a certain way that, impacted me, whatever it was. These were the 5 that grasped my attention the most that year. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Brett, that means you played a lot of games. No. No. So my rules for this is Charlie asks another question that's really good. The year they came out or the year you discover them. These are games that came out that specific year. So if a game came out in 2010 and I didn't play it till 2016, it can make the list. So I'm going by release date year. Okay? So, like I said, maybe I just didn't play a lot of games certain years, but other years later I went back to them. That's fine. There are a lot of games that will be omitted from these lists because I did not play them. That's another thing on this list. I had to have played them, whether it was the year they came out or later. So certain games are not going to be on here that probably are higher up on people's tier list for games. For example, Death Stranding's not on here. Resident Evil 2 Remake is not on here. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is not on here. I mean, those are all recent examples, but they're not on here. Mass Effect is not on here. Other shit, I don't know. So before you jump down my throat in the comments about, oh, you missed this game, blah, blah, blah. If I didn't play it, it didn't go on the list. Now, obviously there's a lot of video games that release every year. I have also left a section where I'm just going to quick shout out like, oh, this game almost made the list, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. The 5 for each year, I'm going to go more in detail and talk about my experience with each of them. It might be a quick thing, it might be extended, just depending on the game. And then one other thing I did not include collections or remasters, I'm pretty sure. Remasters I might have fucked up on, to be honest. But I didn't do re-releases. So like Spyro Reignited Trilogy is not on here. I don't know. Like things like that I did not include because I didn't feel like, yeah, they were fun. Yeah, I had a good time with it. But I didn't feel like it's not new, So I think that covers anything. Obviously, chat, let me know if you have any more questions as I'm going through. And feel free to let me know what your favorite games are as I'm going through the year, or comment in the same games that I'm talking about. Okay, so we're starting with 2010, junior year, high school. Woo! Now, looking at some of these, I was like, oh my God. Like, not that it's like old, it's just like, I remember this game coming out. It doesn't seem like that long ago kind of thing. And like, just remembering that time, like once we get to 2011, like I'm starting to remember like, oh shit, specific moments of like, I was doing this. That's when this game came out. So yeah. All right. So starting with 2010, this one, there were some easy standouts. There was a lot that I definitely was like, ooh, that's a potential. There's some, like only 2 that I'm like really going to talk about, and the other ones are just kind of quick hits. So top 5. Starting at number 5, these I tried to rank them in importance from 5 being the lowest to 1 being the most important, but we'll see. See you soon, Jeff. Have a good one. So yeah, starting in 2010, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. So I started getting into Assassin's Creed thanks to Charlie. Let me try out 1, which was very repetitive. 2, hooked it in for sure. Brotherhood I really enjoyed just because it added more mechanics to the game that we already loved. It added assassins that you could summon in and help you out with missions. The story was really good of you creating this group of assassins, teaching new people what to do. There was a little tower defense mechanic in it too, where you had to defend your assassin bases in certain areas. So Brotherhood, I think that might honestly be my favorite of the Assassin's Creeds that I played. Odyssey is definitely going up that list as I play it more on stream. But I also feel like Odyssey is kind of its own thing. Like, the early Assassin's Creed games were very focused on this overarching story of Templars versus Assassins, like when it came down to the nitty-gritty, I don't feel like Odyssey has that. Like, I don't give two shits about what's going on in the present day. I'm only focused on Cassandra's story in the here and now. Not that Brotherhood 2, 1, 3, Revelations, not that they didn't focus on Italy or wherever the fuck they were, but they had this overarching path of Desmond and how he was attached to the assassin Ezio or Altair or Connor and the artifacts that were in play, and that felt more like that was what they were telling. And Odyssey doesn't feel like that. Odyssey feels like a separate thing that has Assassin's Creed mechanics. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I personally feel. So I feel like Brotherhood is top of my list, and maybe one day I'll go replay it. We'll see. So moving on to number 4. This was just a game that I just enjoyed quite a bit. It had a solid story, and I want to play through them again on stream. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. So it was obviously a Star Wars game. You were this rogue Jedi that was going around trying to get your revenge on Darth Vader. It was in between the prequels and the main story movies, I guess you would say. I don't know. How would you say that? Prequel. You got prequels, then you got the sequels. What's the one in the middle? There's a word for it. But yeah, it was just a fun game. The main story, originals, thank you. See, some dumb word I just couldn't think of. The main character wasn't the most compelling, but the story was fun. You went to different planets. You obviously had the lightsabers. Lightsaber combat was fun. You had the different force powers. It was just a good time overall, and you could get unlockables for your character. You could customize your lightsabers, make them different colors. You could get different skins, and it was just a fun time overall, both those games. Excuse me. So Force Unleashed 2 made the list for me there. Moving on to number 3. A sports game, NBA 2K11. This got me back into basketball games and back into basketball in general. Not that I was that big of a fan before, but I actually started watching basketball after this. 2K, oh, that was a voice crack. 2K11. Like, for me, putting 2K on the map for me as sports games, but like blew up. They like destroyed EA in what a basketball game should be. It was a lot of fun. The mechanics just ran great. Their campaign of you making a player and going through and just playing through the NBA games and through the season was a lot of fun. That always became my favorite part of the game. Was just starting off, and I'd obviously do shit, but working your way up, getting better at your stats, get her better shooting, get her better with your teammates, like just taking this team that you got drafted to that probably wasn't the best team and improving yourself and making it this better team. That was always my thing. Obviously, I had goals of like, oh, I want to be on that team, but man, that never happened because I was freaking shit. So like taking teams like the Knicks were shit one year, so taking the Knicks and bringing them up higher, taking the Orlando Magic and bringing them up higher, going to the Thunder and then sitting on the bench because Russell Westbrook was point guard and I couldn't do much. Like those kinds of games where you can improve your character over time and just playing that was a lot of fun. They've kind of tapered off now just because they don't have that competition of EA. Like, EA's tried to come back, but they're just, they cannot hit the ball with NBA Live like they could back in the day. No pun intended. But, like, oof, yeah. They're still solid overall, but they're just nothing unique. It's like the same thing over and over each year. And, I mean, you could say that with most sports games. Like, what can you really do new each year and year in and out? Because you only have the year to produce it. But 2K11 was something special for me. Next one. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 1. What a game. What a game. Great campaign. Obviously, a lot of people remember the numbers, Mason. What do they mean? That was a lot of fun. Zombies mode. This was the first Call of Duty I had where you had Zombies mode. I didn't have World at War or whatever it was. So challenging those, running it back and forth. Not that I even got terribly far in any of them. was a lot of fun, and it seemed like a lot of people played it too. So you always had different people to run around with and try. Realizing that the main home screen or the main menu, you could get out of the chair to unlock a different zombies map was fun. And yeah, obviously the multiplayer of Call of Duty has always been, a big staple. I mean, Charlie and I played Modern Warfare 2 for days on end whenever I would stay over at his house. Like, man, just a good solid game all around. And then number 1 for 2010 to wrap it up was Red Dead Redemption. This was a game, I don't even know how I got into it. Like, I assume like my parents gifted to me at a holiday or something. I don't remember what piqued my interest there, but that just took me by surprise. Great story, solid game. I think the story was the most impactful thing. Obviously, the ending. Like, I think that was one of the first times I really felt for a character. Full spoilers for all these years, by the way, so heads up there. But when John Marston died, like, when you just get pelted by that Gatling gun at the end while his family runs away, holy shit. Like, that sucked. You played the whole thing with him and then just gone like that. And then you come back as his son and you get revenge on all the motherfuckers that killed you. Man, what a good time. And then there was the stupid online that Charlie and I always had a good time with too, whether it was blowing up bases, seeing a magical zebra run across, and then chasing that motherfucker down. Oh, very unexpected, but that was a blast playing that. So yeah, that's 2010. The cannon in that fort, exactly. We just kept battling over that one fort over and over again. And then to wrap up 2010, other releases games that were really good. BioShock 2, God of War 3, Pokemon Soul Silver, the re-release of Silver and Gold, Skate 3, even though it annoys the shit out of me. Monday Night Combat was like an Xbox Live game that was like a just first-person shooter, team-based game. That was fun. Dead Rising 2 was fun, even though the time markers sucked. Fallout New Vegas was fun, even though I only played a little bit. Super Meat Boy, challenging as hell, but very cute, very funny. Halo Reach came out, and King of Fighters 13. King of Fighters 13, I didn't get out into all that much until California at the Round 1 arcades. I was just so intrigued. I'm like, I don't know what this game even is. Like, there was Street Fighter cabinets. I knew I was sucky at those. There was no Marvel vs. Capcom like I was hoping. So I sat down at King of Fighters. I tried it out. And that became a staple. Every time I went to round 1, playing some King of Fighters. Played some people, won some matches, got very far in the arcade ladder. I was just like, this is a good time. That was a good one. So, yeah. Those are some shout outs. So moving on to 2011. Whew. Okay. There was, all these top 5 were important ones to me. Like, these ones had more impact, I feel, than 2010s did in certain ways. So starting off the list at number 5, this one was just dumb, stupid fun. A lot of hours wasted in creative mode, making levels, or not even making levels, just zip-zapping around. But Little Big Planet 2. Little Big Planet, what a toolbox of things that you could do. Obviously, you could create the levels. There was basic stuff you could do. But then there's so much intricate stuff you could do too. I feel it's like Minecraft. Like, there is you can make the simplest square, or you can animate this other thing and make it do this thing and that thing and the other thing. Story mode was fun. Good times, just unlocking new costumes, unlocking new cosmetics for a little Sackboy character, the little knit dude that you'd run around in. Rocket cats, yeah, you just strap a rocket to this little cheetah thing, hold on tight, and then let your character zip zap around all over. I said zip zap around again. What am I, in the 1950s? Stupid fun. Next one, Saints Row the Third. This was my first Saints Row game, and this is the one they really just kind of took what they copied from GTA and said, you know what, fuck it, we're going to go balls to the wall crazy on this one. And they just went all comedy. There was dumb explosions. There was hilarious characters. I think Hulk Hogan was a guy. Yeah, Hulk Hogan was like a luchador in the game. Just ridiculous cars, ridiculous weapons. There's a, I don't know, famous weapon, if you want to call it. There was a dildo bat in that game. Why? Why was there? And it was giant, and it just waved around when you swung it. And it's like, oh my god. There was a shark rocket launcher. You would put the rocket launcher on, or maybe it was like a little cannon. You'd shoot out some chum, and then a shark would burst out of the ground and just eat anybody who was standing there. It was the dumbest thing, but it was so much fun. I still remember the final mission. So you had to go to... There was 2 locations. You had to try and save your friends. You had to pick one. And whatever one you're going to, whether it was the Statue of Liberty or this airport, you're gunning it in your car. And they just have I Need a Hero going on and playing while you're shooting all these enemies and going to save your friend. Just dumb fun. Next game on my list was Skyrim. Skyrim, even though I didn't play a bunch of it, that was a game I can't deny that had a lot of impact. Whether it was me, whether it was my friends, whether it was Dad, whoever was playing it, it seemed like that one blew up. And I only knew about Skyrim and finally tried Skyrim because people in my frickin' 3D animation class would not shut up about it. It's a 4-hour class, and that was the only thing they talked about for so long. Oh, nothing worse than sitting there just trying to animate your character and being so out of touch with the conversation that you don't know what's going on. Oh, man. But yeah, Skyrim was a lot of fun. It was a good time creating your character, tackling the dungeons, getting punted by a giant because you don't know, well, I'm not ready for this guy. Yeah, Skyrim was quite an interesting one. Next one means a lot for me, and I'm sure you guys will know it instantly when I say it of why it's important to me, but Marvel vs. Capcom. I was in love with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 at the arcades, just going to play. Dad humored me, always popped in a quarter in there himself, or however much it was, and, smashed the buttons along with me and played along. So when Marvel came back with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I was so happy. I was ecstatic. That released in February, and I didn't really realize the same year they released Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which had 8 more characters, extra skins. I thought at least it was a year, maybe year and a half later, but it was the same year. The vanilla version released in February, and the new one released in November. And I got them both. But that was a lot of fun. During that time, that's when I found Maximilian Doge and started really watching his content, was the release of Marvel vs. Capcom, because he would have news about it, about this character's coming out, or here's this combo. Yeah, that game's just been a lot of fun, and it's allowed me to explore my interest in fighting games a little bit more, but also communicate with people more and connect with people more. Dio is a guy that I bonded over with Marvel vs. Capcom, and another game that I'll mention a little bit further down the line, but yeah, those games always hold something special. There's definitely parts of that where there was negative. Online, getting your ass whooped and fucking Sentinel just punching you left and right. Not a good time. But other than that, solid. And then number 1 for 2011 was Batman Arkham City. We played this on stream. That game I was so excited for. That was another one that I just kept constantly looking up videos before release. What can I get my hands on? What can I watch of this? What intro cutscene? What character art? Whatever I can find. I would sit there during breaks and just absorb it. And when it finally came out, I think I beat it in 2 days. I played it that much. I was like, oh, shit. God damn, I love that game. Love getting that excited about a game. Yeah, it was great. That game was awesome. That game was great. The story, they kept pulling you different ways of like, oh, who's actually the mastermind here? The twist at the end with Joker being obviously the main bad guy, and then actually dying at the end because he was sick. Like, that was insane. And that obviously led to big impacts later on in the series. Like, flying around the city was fucking huge too. Like, you were only restricted to the island in Arkham Asylum, which, I mean, that game was like 2008, I think. But, like, that was fun. But then, yeah, flying around the city, you had different characters. You could play as Catwoman, you could play as Robin. Man. Such a good game. Such a good game. Other ones that came out in 2011 that I was going to give quick shout outs to. We got DC Universe Online. WWE All-Stars was like an arcade wrestling game. That was a blast. Mortal Kombat 9, just because that caught me up with the Mortal Kombat series, because it was technically 1, 2, and 3 all in one game, just with the updated graphics. Infamous 2 was a lot of fun. Alice Madness Returns, for obvious reasons. And then Uncharted 3. Uncharted series I was very late to, but I enjoyed the ride of those. I think 4 is personally my favorite, and I think that gets a shout out later on. But those games definitely were a lot of fun. Moving on to 2012. 2012. Well, let's see. Okay, we got some interesting ones for 2012. Some games that were silly, and some games that, like, I put way too much time into. Alright, so starting at number 5. This was just dumb fun, because not a lot of people like it. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. The name that never ended. It was just a PlayStation Smash Bros. That's all it was, except you didn't knock each other off the screen. Man, I love that game so much. It was just a blast playing with all the Sony characters, getting the different costumes. I think that was the first time I'd really been introduced to Parappa the Rapper. Knowing that Spike from Ape Escape was in this game, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Kratos from God of War. Oh my god, you had Raiden from Metal Gear. There was Big Daddy from BioShock. There were so many characters just in this game. It was just dumb, stupid fun. Yeah, I love that game, and it's unfortunate that it didn't get as much support and love as other games have gotten. Next one is Assassin's Creed 3. This one, okay, I didn't finish Assassin's Creed 3 to start. The thing I love about Assassin's Creed 3, I just love the goddamn setting. The Revolutionary War was a lot of fun. Being in America, running through the forest, running through buildings, wherever you need to go. Connor was kind of not that interesting. But, man, it was a great scenery and setting to run through and experience in the Assassin's Creed universe. So that's why I earned a top 5 for my 2012s. Jumping through bushes, exactly. That's where that started. Assassin's Creed 3. Next one. It's a big one. We spent a lot of hours in this one, and some people still are, but Minecraft. Minecraft came to consoles in 2012. I had only known Minecraft via word. I didn't know anything about it. And man, did that turn into a journey. Whether it was survival mode, trying to figure out everything. What do I need to combine to make this? What in the hell do I need to do to get a fucking torch so I can live through the night? Whatever it is, whether it's survival or it's creative where you can just make whatever, that game is insanity, and it keeps expanding. Yeah, we thought we needed redstone for the longest time to make a torch. No, you don't. Redstone is like 20 steps down the path, boys. Don't even focus on that. Just get a stick, get some coal, you're good. Oh my god, they keep adding to it. People are modding it, obviously, on PC. There's fucking Pokemon in it. Thank you to that modder. Like, that is the game that doesn't stop giving. Next on the list for 2012, Borderlands 2. That was a big one. Borderlands 2, I just love so much because it took the fun of Borderlands 1, of the guns, the shooting, the combat, and they just realized, you know what? We know who we are. This is where we're going to really just let our characters explode with personality. And by God, they did that. Because without that, like, always going back to Borderlands 1, it's like, man, this is tough. This is a run, like, ooh, not a good run. Borderlands 2, I feel like those characters you definitely connect with more, and they mean more, and they got the charisma, they got the fun factor. Like, it doesn't feel like as much of a chore as Borderlands 1 does. And obviously it's led to other games. Pre-sequel was kind of hit or miss. Borderlands 3 I've been loving so far for what I have played. It was a good time. So many guns, the different characters, the different skill trees. Fucking great. And then top one for 2012, which is on my favorite games list probably of all time, is Far Cry 3. Man. Far Cry 3. This is the first Far Cry I played. And it's just absolute insanity. The villain, Voss, has such a powerful draw and appeal in that game. He's the villain for a reason. He was a threat. And the story was interesting, that you're trying to save your friends just from having this vacation where you just were in the wrong place at the wrong time. The encampments where you're trying to be stealthy and take everybody out, or obviously you can go batshit crazy and shoot everybody. That was fun. That's a game I feel like I could keep replaying and replaying. And they had a lot of unique characters too that were interesting. You had the crazy sister, you had your tour guide, you had the crazy doctor who was probably on shrooms 24/7 up on the hill. Yeah, Far Cry, without 3, obviously 4 and 5 would never have picked me up. 3 started all. Like I said, Voss was great and was an amazing villain. So Far Cry 3 takes top spot for 2012. Other releases and shout-outs for 2012. We had Soul Calibur 5. We had Twisted Metal making its return. Dishonored. And then Call of Duty Black Ops 2. 2012. Alright, 2013. Alright, this one I had quite a few games that I was picking from along with 2010. So there's quite a bit of shout-outs or other releases. This one, I had a little bit tough time of ranking where the games go on the 5 list. Just like what had the most impact to me and like where they go. But number 5 for 2013 was Don't Starve. Now, Don't Starve is important to me for a couple reasons. One, it was a very fun game. Just a fun game. Can be challenging. And the art style is a blast. Just little cute, drawings. Very gloomy world. Like I said, the challenge of what do I need when in order to survive. The seasons can destroy you in a minute if you're not ready. But once you get used to what you need to prep and what you need to do where, you are golden. Looks so hard. It can be. It's just, like I said, it's a matter of knowing what you need when. And if you don't prep, you're going to get fucked. So, Don't Starve, gameplay-wise, holds a special place. But also, Don't Starve holds a very special place because that's the first live stream on Twitch I ever watched. I watched a streamer, Miss Snow White, play it. And that was like that extra inspiration and push to be like, hey, this Twitch thing could be something cool. You should try this out. So that game will always have a special part in my heart space. Hold on. Excuse me. So that definitely had to make the list for 2013. And that was on PC back then. Thank you. It's on console now, and they have multiplayer too. Don't Starve Together. I haven't played multiplayer, but I'd love to give it a try at some point. There's some mods on PC that definitely help and make it easier. Like there's a little clock of like when the seasons are going to be. There's like a grid system to kind of align your things better when you build them, but solid game overall. Definitely would recommend anybody who likes those survival games. They're just a little bit of a challenge. Next one is Injustice: Gods Among Us. So this was the first DC, well, no, actually the second Mortal Kombat produced DC fighter. So it was just, Superman versus Batman along with a bunch of other superheroes. But this is the story was the one that really hooked me on this one. They had a very compelling story, which was not a thing for fighting games. Usually fighting games, it was an arcade ladder. Okay, you fight this guy. Why? I don't know. Then you fight the next guy. Any reason now? No, probably not. And you'd go through like 6 or 7 fights until you got to this big boss at the end. And then you win, and then you get a little character ending that could be canon, could not be canon, doesn't really mean anything. And that was it for their fighting game stories. But Injustice changed it. They added this very cinematic experience with it. Yeah, it was still obviously fight this guy, but they did a good job of giving you a reason why you're fighting this guy and creating a scene beforehand that made it have purpose. Like after the fight, oh, okay, you're hacking into this thing, or you're trying to get from this place to this place, and the reason you fought him is to get away, whatever it was. But obviously it set the standard for what Mortal Kombat's and Injustice 2 would be down the road, whether it was MKX or like I said, Injustice 2, just that the storytelling there and how it would look. Number 3, GTA 5. Yeah, that's right. GTA 5 came out in 2013 on Xbox 360. This game is still going. And there's a reason for it. There is so much shit to do in this game. The story was fun, but the online is where it shined. Make your character, buy cars, get a garage, get an apartment, go do races, go do death matches, go do heists eventually. Now you can go to the fucking casino. Yes, GTA 5 is from 2013. It's been around that long. This game got moved over to next-gen consoles, and it's still kicking. Still going. Is it ever going to stop? Probably not, because GTA 6 probably ain't a thing. It's been making so much goddamn money. It's been a high seller for I don't know how many years in a row. It's weird. You think everybody would own GTA 5 by now, but you're wrong. People are still buying it. Stupid. Next on the list is BioShock Infinite. Now, BioShock Infinite was the third of the series. The reason it made this list is because of its story. Like a lot of them, you're probably hearing me say that a lot, and I apologize. But the ending hurt my brain. In not a bad way, in a compelling way. Like, what is going on? Your main character was the bad guy, but was a different guy. There was fucking time traveling and parallel dimensions and universes going on at the same time. Oh my god. The ending for that game just made my brain hurt of like, what is going on? But goddamn was it interesting. BioShock Infinite, very cool. You got out of the underwater and you went to this cloud city. So the enemies were different and unique, and then they had a good presentation of like this fake utopia where everybody's just a jackass. A lot of fun. Last one was Wolf Among Us. This was a game that Nolan recommended to me, actually. I think he bought it for me. It was a Telltale game where it's very choice-based, on your story, and choices you make before will affect characters' memories down the road and how things will go and how the story will unfold and take part. It was just a lot of fun. It was based on a comic book, I guess, but it was all Fable characters. So like Beauty and the Beast was in there, Snow White was in there. There was all these other like Fable-esque characters, and you're just a werewolf who's a detective trying to figure out a murder, and it becomes this bigger thing like any murder involved detective game does. But yeah, it was interesting seeing where your choices went and how they affected you. Yeah, it was 5 episodes like Telltale games are, and it was just very compelling. And it finally is getting a sequel. They announced it, the studio went under, everybody freaked out. I was like, oh no, it's not a thing anymore. And it just got re-announced because the studio had bought up the assets, or the former studio, whatever. So Wolf Among Us 2 is a thing, and I'm very excited for that to come out and just jump into that world again. So like I mentioned, there was a lot of releases this year that stood out to me. So shout outs to Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, another Sly Cooper game, the 4th one in the series. Guacamelee I only beat recently, but that was a fun like Metroidvania platformer beat 'em up. The Last of Us, I enjoyed Last of Us. I didn't enjoy it as much as people like hyped it up to be, but I think that's the thing. Everybody overhyped it, so when I finally got to play it, I was like, yeah, that was fine, but good overall. The Deadpool game that was like its own standalone thing, that was fun. Very challenging at the end, but that was fun. Saints Row 4 gets on here. Batman Arkham Origins. Lego Marvel Superheroes. Killer Instinct, another fighting game that I absolutely loved. But man, if you did not know what you were doing with every single character, woo, tough. And then the Tomb Raider re-releases. Didn't play that until a couple years later, but that one was really, really good, story-wise and graphic-wise. Then we kind of get a dead year. A dead year, 2014. So this one I didn't have any extra shout-outs. I just had my top 5. This one was kind of like a reach for some of them. My number 1 is good. The other ones are like, whatever. For 2014, 5th, number 5, Borderlands pre-sequel. I kind of hinted at this one before. Pre-sequel is kind of iffy. It had some high points, it had some low points. I only beat it maybe in the past year when I went back to it before Borderlands 3, and it just, I don't know, just something was missing there. It felt very repetitive. The moon setting was cool because you had the gravity, which was a different aspect you could kind of mess around with your oxygen, where you could butt slam stuff or jump really far, and I don't know, it just felt like something was missing there that just didn't really hook me all that much. Mario Kart 8, that was just silly fun with friends and family. It's a simple enough game that pretty much anybody could pick it up, so it's just a fun time for everybody. Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U was a good one. I think that was the second Smash Bros. I had owned. I'd owned Brawl before that, but that was a fun one. And it was the first time they introduced 8 players at once, so it just added more to the chaos. Made the earlier Extra Lives a lot of fun. It's definitely a staple. So that gets a shout out. Far Cry 4. Another solid game. I didn't like Pagan Min, the villain, as much as Voss. It was definitely solid still. But I think I enjoyed the setting of the Himalayas a little bit more than the island of 3. So Far Cry 4, it was more Far Cry. Just a different setting, different bad guy. But it was more of the same, and it was good. It was enjoyable. And then last one, my number 1, was South Park Stick of Truth. It got delayed. Is that the one I drove the Jeep off the cliff instantly? It might have been. That sounds like something. I think that was Far Cry 3 that you're thinking of. Yeah. But South Park Stick of Truth. It's just South Park, but an amazing game. It's Lord of the Rings meets South Park. It's a turn-based... Pretty sure it's turn-based. Yeah, turn-based RPG in the South Park universe. Got all this South Park comedy, and it just was a blast. Yeah, it got delayed because some studio issues. They had to swap over to a new studio. But that game was a lot of fun, warranted a good sequel that we'll talk about later. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I can really say about that one, I suppose. Moving on. Whew. All right. 2015. 2015. So this was me. This is when I moved to California, or at least some of these. Okay, first one on my list is Evolve. Evolve was a game that not a lot of people dug. It was a 4v1 monster versus hunters like shooter. It's like a, I guess, strategy game. Similar to a Dead by Daylight now, and what else is there? Friday the 13th. But it was a big monster, and yeah, 4 people were hunters, and they each had different abilities that they could do. And you had to, the monster either had to kill all of you, or obviously the hunters needed to try and kill the monster in time. There was different stages where the monster could evolve and grow bigger and more powerful. And it wasn't just online only. You could play with computers. So that was where I got my kick out of it. Was just like, you know what? I'm just going to have some fun. Something to throw in when I don't really need to pay 100% attention to, but has enough challenge where like this match could go either way. So I need to be, you know, invested and really focus on what skills I need to use where in order to win, or unfortunately I'm going to die and lose. Because if your teammates go down, boy, howdy doody, are you going to be in trouble. So yeah. Next one's Mario Party 10. First 5-player Mario Party. It introduced the Bowser mode. So one player could play Bowser as on the Wii U tablet against 4 people. That led to some fun nights in California. We had some friends over and played that. And it was just, you know, it's silly party game fun. It's a good time. It took what made Mario Party good and got it back to where it needed to be. Mario Party 9 was ass. Mario Party 10, if you just played the 4-player mode, was kind of booty. It was still like 9 where you're all sitting in the same car. But 10 with that game mode, I think Bowser mode is what saved it. With that 5-player aspect, it just made it... It was different and it was fun because of that. Next one's a big one because it just made such an impact on stream, but Life is Strange. Life is Strange is another one of those games like Wolf Among Us where it was very choice heavy, and your choices would affect how things would play out. You were a girl with supernatural powers where she could rewind time, so that was another mechanic of this game where you could kind of make choices and see how they played out. And then if you really wanted to, you could rewind, but you could only rewind so far. So if you let it go on too long, you were pretty much set on your path. But that, like I said, that was one that Stream really kind of sunk their teeth into, and people were invested. I remember, I think it was still episode 2, we ran into a problem where the main character's best friend was going to attempt suicide by jumping off a building, the school, and you had to go up there and talk her down. And we were able to do that, but the whole time everybody's just like, oh God, I don't think he's going to do it. Oh God, nope, that wasn't right. And we were able to get her down safely, but whew, man, that game was a ride. And the second one just released their last episode a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago. So I'm very excited to get back into Life is Strange because now I can play all the episodes. That was the thing. They release it episodically. I knew I wasn't going to be able to wait in between. I just want to play it. Maybe it's the Netflix in me, or maybe it's just the game of like, you know, I want to keep going. This thing is interesting. I'm not going to stop. So that would be something on stream that we plan. I think that'll be next month that we're going to be playing that actually. So I'm interested to see where that story goes, and if it even follows Max, who was in the first one, the main character, if it follows somebody different. We mentioned Batman Arkham City earlier. Well, Arkham Knight came out in 2015, and this was another one that was just, how can you improve on City? You can bring it to next-gen consoles, you can improve the graphics, you can just build on top of whatever you already have and add new characters, add the fucking Batmobile as a tank. that people hated but I loved, you do that. And Arkham Knight had a lot, just kept doing what they needed to do. It had a compelling story, added more characters to it, add this very psychological aspect to the story because Scarecrow is the main villain, and you had the nightmare of Joker's death constantly haunting you throughout this game. God, a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And then top game for 2015, which is a game that I didn't even really feel excited about until I started watching a little bit more about it and then talking to Dio about it. But it's Mortal Kombat X. This is my first Mortal Kombat game. And the story, like I mentioned earlier with Injustice, was very cinematic. It was very engaging. It made you care about these characters, even though, like me, knew nothing about any of them. And it just, like, re-established this love for fighting games. Mortal Kombat X got me back into Marvel. It got me into Killer Instinct. It got me into exploring these different fighting games and trying to learn what to do instead of just smashing every button on the controller. This motion does this. This does this. This is a combo. This is a setup. Now, am I still shit at fighting games? Absolutely. Those take, a lot of time to get, and every fighting game is different. But Mortal Kombat X was a lot of fun, and just the memories of playing it or watching it being played, Maximilian Dude and his friends making their own movies about it. Solid time. Other releases in 2015 that get shout-outs, Shovel Knight was like a pixel platformer that was released then. That was a lot of fun. We played that on stream. Dying Light was a zombie survival game. Bloodborne, I still haven't beaten, but love the world in that. Man, that game is difficult and not for me. Well, it is for me. I just gotta do better at it. And Disgaea 5 was turn-based strategy game. Little anime characters that punch each other, cause magic, and do other stuff. But I watched Dio play it and instantly fell in love with the little characters and how funny they were. 2016 was a big year. So this was California and coming home. So top 5 for 2016. This next one, number 5, is kind of a cheat because it's not really a game. It's a plethora of games. PlayStation VR came out. That gets my 5th spot. I did not expect VR to be this fun. Obviously, early on, it was very experience heavy. It was very simple. There's a game that comes up later in 2017 that like blew everything out of the water for VR for me. But when it came out originally, there was Job Simulator, which was a lot of fun. What else was there? Job Simulator was the big one. Crap, I saw the list earlier. Batman Arkham VR was another one. But they were just like very simple experiences. Stand here, do this thing, do that. But the way it's kind of expanded and grown over the years, whether it's full VR games, whether it's Super Hot, whether it's Beat Saber, whether it's Surgeon Simulator, like, yeah, there's still ones where you're standing still or you don't have to move all that much. But just the amount of immersion the VR headset does, gets you into, that's why it earns a spot on this list for me. Next one's a simple one, but Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley came out on PC. It's on consoles now, but it's just a little farming game. Make a farm, put some crops in, go sell your crops, hopefully make your grandfather proud. Simple fun. Next one's a big one, but Overcooked. The game that took everybody by surprise. Just a multiplayer cooking game. Chop some ingredients, throw it in a pot, throw it in a pan, go deliver it. But the chaos that ensues there too. You got everybody yelling at each other to do this, do that. What's your role? What's my role? Why are you doing this? I'm supposed to be doing this. It was a fun little challenge. I still need to go back and beat Overcooked 1. I think I got right to the end where I have to beat the last level of each world, but I just didn't do it. But then Overcooked 2 comes down the road in 2018, and that's just a blast too. So Overcooked was a lot of fun. Next one is Doom 2016. This one, I know I said that rule earlier about re-releases. This is kind of a re-release, but also kind of like it's just a re-emergence of Doom. I didn't play it till later. I don't know if it was 2017 or 2018, but the amount of speed you have in that game, like, it's so much different than other first-person shooters where it's very clunky and slow. You have so much movement, and, like, you have to keep moving in Doom. If you stand still, you're gonna die. And I think that's what makes Doom so much fun. Obviously, there's the, the interesting villains, the demons, the whatever. But Doom's just a lot of fun because of that fast-paced action. And Doom Eternal was supposed to release last month, this month, I don't know, but got delayed till March, I think. Oh, that's going to be a blast to play. Last one, if you know when games release, this one should be very obvious, but 2016, number one is Overwatch. I put like 200 or more hours into that game. I know some people who have put 1,000 hours into that game. That game is a game I did not expect to like. I started watching and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. Character-based, first-person shooter. First game that I played a sniper and I was actually hitting people at all. Man, that game is a lot of fun. It led to, all that Widowmaker art. I mean, there's plethora around. I'm, of course, pointing at the butt one, but we got that. Other art you can't see down here, but Lucio and Sombra. Not that I even play Sombra. Reaper. There's a lot of interesting characters that had good gameplay aspects to it and challenges. And they kept adding heroes to it. Seemed like every 3 months or so, they would add a hero. Maybe longer than that. I don't know. And then the cosmetics of the skins, like they got the winter event, they got the Halloween event, which had certain game modes or certain skins. You got the summer games where you can play pretty much Rocket League with your characters. Just that game was so much fun. And with the second one coming out, I was a little apprehensive just because I wasn't sure about, like, I put all this work in unlocking all these skins and stuff. You can get them in Overwatch too. Everything transfers. So I'm excited for that, just to keep playing those and see where that game goes. And I mean, the esports league of that, Overwatch League, obviously is blown up, and it's crazy to see players of that level, what they can do with their teams. Other releases 2016 to shout out, we got Lego's Marvel's Avengers. We had Street Fighter V come out that year. Already talked about it, but Rocket League came out to consoles that year. Far Cry Primal was one that took me by surprise because I didn't think that Far Cry would work in the prehistoric age. Super Hot came out on PC. Uncharted 4, Planet Coaster, aka Roller Coaster Tycoon on acid, and Dead Rising 4, just dumb fun, killing some zombies in a shopping mall. Whew, we got 3 years left. 2017. This is where some big hitters come in. Yeah, there's some big hitters in the next 3 years here. So I only had 2 shout-outs for this one. 2017, number 5, Injustice 2. Just kept expanding on what Injustice 1 had done and MKX had done. NetherRealm, this was the first one they kind of like showed what they could do to facial modeling and animation. Like, if you get a chance, go check out Injustice 2's, like, just their cutscenes and just look at the faces. Like, it's insane how good they look, and it was a solid fighting game. Tons of fun. They had tower modes, so you constantly had something to do with either little modifiers or little challenges that would change. Some would change weekly, some would change daily. There was one that would change hourly. And they unlocked gear for you, so you could kind of customize your characters a little bit, which was a nice touch. And they still have one of the hypest DLC trailers ever when they announced the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That music that goes with that, always gives me a little chill when I listen to it. But Injustice 2 definitely up there. Cuphead, 2017. Man, that game is difficult. Platforming hell. Bullet hell. Drawn art style the whole way through. Back to like old Disney animations type. But yeah, shout out to Cuphead. A lot of fun. I mentioned this in the last year, but PSVR was blown away, like, by this game, like, in a good way. Resident Evil 7. My first Resident Evil that I played, I didn't play in VR at first. I played off, like, normal game, and then it was made entirely for VR as well. And I tried playing that in VR, and man, I had to stop. I psyched myself out. I was like, oh shit, I know what's going to happen. I spooked myself way more than I need to. But immersion VR mode, Resident Evil 7, you feel like you're in that house. You are going to, every little creak, every little crack that you hear is terrifying. And if anybody is interested in horror or just like doesn't believe the immersion of VR, even if you only play Resident Evil 7 for 5 to 10 minutes, that opening house, man, it's real good. And yeah, that was a solid story throughout. It seemed like it was going to be its own thing and not link into the rest of the Resident Evils. It didn't until the end where another character popped in. But that was a lot of fun. Even though I was scared, I just kept wanting to go. Number 2, Horizon Zero Dawn. This was a new IP that PlayStation had exclusive. So get this. Futuristic, but also prehistoric time with robotic animals that people hunt down with bows and arrows. That is Horizon Zero Dawn. You follow Aloy, that's who you play as, and you're just trying to figure out what is going on in the world. Why are these robots the way they are? I think you're trying to find your parents, maybe, because you're an orphan. But that game was a lot of fun. I remember playing that on stream. The funny thing about playing on stream, it's an open world game, so there's a lot to do. I never really upgraded my equipment all that much. So when I got to the final boss, I was chipping away at its health. That boss fight, no shit, took me like 20 to 30 minutes just because of how little damage I was doing. But it was so much fun just dodging things and waiting for my attack, shooting my arrows when I could. It was a blast. And that's a game I've been meaning to go back and replay. Excuse me. Just because, like I said, it's open world and I miss so much. I was very streamlined with it because the story, I was that invested in it. I didn't go really off the beaten path and explore like, what's over here? Let's hunt these types of robots. Let's explore this. Let's upgrade this. Let's follow this sidetrack, whatever it was. So if you get a chance, Horizon Zero Dawn, definitely a good one to play. And I'm looking forward to replaying it eventually. And then top one, just because I didn't think it would have that much impact with me, but clearly has, is Fortnite. Fortnite came out in 2017. I believe that's when the base game came out. I think Battle Royale might have been 2018, so I might have fucked up on this one. But yeah, I never thought I'd give two shits about Fortnite. Charlie and I cared about it when it was first announced in Game Awards years ago, when it was the survival thing, because we were like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And we were all Gears of War back then, so when we saw Epic, we're like, yep, all right, I'm intrigued, I'm interested. But then it disappeared from the planet and then came back as this kids dancing around Battle Royale, shoot 'em up. And I was like, what? All right. And then I finally gave it a try, and I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. It was like the thing that was sweeping, everybody was swept up into it. And it was fun to hop into matches quick, even though you sucked. Play with your friends. We're still playing now. I just like unlocking the cosmetics. Obviously, Fortnite, I was able to compete at TwitchCon, which was an amazing experience, just feeling the atmosphere of that room of people chanting and the crowd and the setups of the computers and seeing the professional players or play it. Like, yay. That was something. So yeah, Fortnite definitely makes that list. Other shout-outs for 2017, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, the game that could but certainly didn't. And South Park, The Fractured But Whole, that was the sequel to Stick of Truth. Just more of the same, but it was superheroes this time, so Lord of the Rings. Good time. 2018, more big hitters. Number 5, Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball Z, but more with Marvel vs. Capcom? Oh my god. Fast-paced action, explosions, the art style looked just like the anime and the cartoon. There's a lot of Gokus and a lot of Vegetas, but other than the repeat of characters, that game was great. Unfortunately, it's kind of hit a wall and hit a ceiling, but for the time being, that was like the next big thing, with how fast and crazy the action was in that game. Number 4 is one that just consumed a shit ton of time for me, and I just platinumed it, finally. Fallout Shelter. Another game I was tardy to the party, and I was just like, you know what? It's free after it was a Game Awards. I was like, it's free. I'll give it a try. And it was just, here's base management, the game. And, yeah, there was that might be another one that's like 100+ hours put into that game. Just manage your people, build a civilization. It's all time-based because it came from a mobile game, so that aspect sucked when you didn't have anything to do. But yeah, it definitely earns a spot. It's a time sucker for sure. But yeah, now that I've platinumed it and 100%ed it, I'm like, you know what? It was a good run. It's time to put it to bed. But it definitely earned its spot. Next one is Spider-Man, the Spider-Man game that came out on PlayStation 4. I beat that maybe a couple months ago. It's just a great Spider-Man game. You feel like Spider-Man swinging around the city. And there's games that do that well, and there's games that do not do that well. There was quite a few Spider-Man games that just were not great. But this one's got good story. It sets up a lot of villains. It has a lot of villains. There's the main quest line, but then there's side stuff with other villains. It took what Batman Arkham did for Batman and put it for Spider-Man. Not much I have to say about Spider-Man, but that was a good game. God of War, the fourth one or the first one, however you want to look at it, the reemergence of Kratos in the Norse mythology, adding his son to it. That game was just very cool in that it took everything and made it one single camera shot. So when it went to a cutscene, that was the game. When it came out of the cutscene, you're right into it. The adventure with Kratos for this edition, just great. I can't recommend it enough. The ending, I won't spoil it because it's still relatively new, but I didn't see that coming, and it sets up a lot of things for obviously potential sequels, as things kind of need to do. But also seeing the progression of the characters, Kratos and Atreus, his son's relationship throughout. Like, if you've played any of the God of Wars or just even know of Kratos, obviously he's the big rage monster, but seeing him struggle with that in this game and kind of grow as a teacher and raising his son, it's cool to see. Makes you care. And then last one for number 1, 2018 is Far Cry 5. Another Far Cry, top of the list. Shocker. Far Cry 5 had a very, very interesting story of a cult church that was warning of the end of times, pretty much. And it was in America. It was like the Midwest. And you were just like, no, okay, we got to stop whatever this is. They're getting too powerful. They're making threats. And you slowly going from their encampment to encampment, taking down this cult family and getting to Joseph Seed, the last one, and like hearing their messaging throughout and their programming of seeing like what they're doing. Like one relative would embody you to be a better person. One would like use hallucinogens to like help shape you to be different, and one was like conditioning you. It was weird. Like they each had their own like mental game that they would play with people. So you had those 3 different mini bosses, and then main boss of Joseph, and just hearing their messaging throughout of like what they're trying to do and what word they're spreading. It made another good or great villain of the Far Cry series. It got a sequel. I still need to play it, but it follows up after that game like a couple years later, so I need to check that out and see where that story goes to. Other releases that came out 2018 that are shout out were the Monster Hunter World. Didn't expect to like that game, but that's a very grindy game, but it's a good time running around hunting the beasts. Detroit Become Human, another choice-based like very story/movie like style game. So if you're interested in like interactive novels, I guess is a way to put it, but just like interactive, kind of like choose your own adventure books, but in a movie format, like that's definitely for you. Overcooked 2, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I've been playing on stream lately. Bendy and the Ink Machine was fun. And then Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, just because it's the epitome of Smash Bros. It's everybody's in it who we've had ever, and all the maps and all that stuff. And last but not least, to wrap it up, 2019. Whew! Number 5, Concrete Genie. Simple indie game. You're a kid trying to save the town. It's all dull. There's this dark energy that's like possessing the town and ruining it and making it negative energy filled. And you just paint. You just pretty much paint with a magic paintbrush to make light in the world and bring back happiness to your town and save it. And it's a very simple game, but it's got a powerful message to it, and its characters, and it's a good time. Next one, Apex Legends. This is another one in the Battle Royale genre. Respawn Entertainment, the people who made Titanfall, made this one. This one is a 3-person one. That game is quite a bit of fun. They know how to make shooters. And this one feels like a shooter, while Fortnite's a shooter too. I don't know, it feels different. It feels like more of a Call of Duty type like intensity to it. Like run, slide, jump, dash, do this thing. Your characters have powers where you can use those, and there's more impact to everything as to Fortnite, where it's more cartoony, and it's a lot of fun because of that. That's another game I want to invest and get better at, but I think I'd like to do that with people, and unfortunately I don't have people to play with. Recent one that I just beat on stream, but Link's Awakening had that much of an impact on me. Cute art style. Obviously, it's a remake from the Game Boy Advance, so I'm breaking that rule again. But simple game mechanics. Attack, do this, do that. Fun dungeons, fun characters, fun art style. Just cute overall. Good time. Number 2, Mortal Kombat 11. Oh my god, I was so hyped for this game when they fucking announced it at the Game Awards in 2018. It was great. They announced it, and it wasn't one of those things like, it's coming down the road. It was like, this game is out in 4 months. We're ready. And I was like, yes, this is how it should be. Don't tell me about things coming out 2 years down the road and make me sit and wait. Tell me about things coming out. So, Mortal Kombat 11 doing that. The amazing graphics that game has. It's very brutal with its fatalities. All of them are. The story mode having the time travel mechanic of the old Mortal Kombat meeting the new Mortal Kombat, and then meeting and fighting their past and present selves was amazing. Gameplay wise, falls a little bit, just a little different from MKX, which I really enjoyed, but it's still good. Like I said, there was a lot of hype and excitement for that game when it was announced and leading up to release. Number 1, Kingdom Hearts 3 takes my top just because of how much that game means to me. This was, I think it was 10 years since Kingdom Hearts 2 had released. And when I finally got my hands on this game, I couldn't stop smiling. Like, it just made me so happy. The art style is completely different from 1 and 2. That took a little getting used to. But the combat is so smooth. It's so exciting. There's just... it's the silliest things that make you smile. Oh my God, we're going to Hercules. Like, we're going to Olympus again. We're going to this world. We're going to Monsters, Inc. for the first time. We're going to the Pirates of the Caribbean again. We're going to Winnie the Pooh land. We're going to fucking Frozen land. Those make you smile. And then seeing they added in like the theme park rides, so you can do attacks in the teacups. You get in a teacup and you're bashing around. You can do a carousel. You can do the pirate ship. You can do the Buzz Lightyear blaster thing. Like, just how seamlessly the combat flows from I'm swinging my Keyblade to I'm doing this theme park ride to I'm summoning a million fireworks with Donald to shoot all around of us. It just flows so well, and it makes every fight feel very fun, but also like compelling, I guess. I still haven't beaten it, just because I kind of took a time off from it because the next thing distracted me. But I've been playing through it now, and I should be finishing it soon. And it's really good. And how they're tying in the overarching story more into the Disney worlds and the Pixar worlds now, like Toy Story and crap, there's another one that's in there. I don't know, I'm blanking, but it's been really good. It's been a really good time. And then other releases that I wanted to shout out. I've only played a little bit of it, but Resident Evil 2, the remake there, was a blast. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, it was a really fun Power Rangers fighting game. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was a return to that franchise as well. That's been fun. And then Borderlands 3. Just more shooting, more pew-pew-pewing, more looting. Whew. Wow. I didn't think I was going to talk that long about games. But yeah. So those are my top 5 favorites from 2010 to 2019. I'm sure everybody's got their own unique list. I'm sure there's games I missed out that were big in those years. I'd be interested to hear what everybody else's top games for years were, or what games they did enjoy. So please let me know those in the comments or Discord or wherever you'd like to. But I had a lot of fun looking through the year releases and remembering, oh shit, this game, oh man, this one, playing that, and going through and kind of seeing like which ones do I think impacted me the most, whether it was that year or just playing games throughout. So thank you guys for letting me kind of pouring this out at you, I suppose, and hearing me out. And then Pi, thanks for the idea and letting me steal that earlier in the week on stream. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, this has been another episode of the Wait What We Talking About podcast, episode 59. My name is Bret, aka Enigma9011, and you're joining me today live over on twitch.tv. If you want to catch it live, you can go over to twitch.tv/Enigma911 every first and third Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern, where we talk about these topics live, usually with some guests. If you ever have a topic for us, you can always put it in the comment section down below or join in on the conversation like Lady, Charlie, and Jeff did today and talk about them with us. If you can't catch it live, you can always catch it over on youtube.com and SoundCloud the following week, where it's broken up topic by topic and always put as one big video, or MP3 the following Friday for your amusement. You can check that out. And then last but not least, remember, we're brought to you guys by the merch store. You can get all of your merch and swag over there: t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out for this podcast and dealing with the solo cast. 2020 is going to be a big year, hopefully, for the stream, or at least just a big year for myself. I hope to improve, like I talked about earlier, and just make things better for all of us. Hopefully improve the product, whether it's the podcast, whether it's the stream, whatever it might be. Just trying to constantly push myself to be better. So I appreciate you guys watching these and tuning into these. If you guys ever have any feedback, please let me know as well. I'm always down to hear, obviously, what you guys think and what you guys think is good or what could be better. Because, I mean, if we're working together to make things better, it can be better. I'm only one person. I can only have so many ideas or whatever it is. I don't know. But yeah, 2020, we're coming back to episode 60, that January 4th. I'm going to try and get in new guests, returning guests, maybe multiple guests. We'll see. I got to start making that list so I can start sending out invites. But if there's anybody else you want to see on this podcast, let me know as well. I'll try and see if I can reach out, talk to them, see if they're interested, and get them on for the show. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.